Not only do we project our shadows outward onto people, but we also project how we want to be seen onto other people too. This is what's called our persona, our mask that we show to the world. On the flip side of the mask that we show to the world lies our shadow. As long as we keep going through life presenting the mask of who we think we should be, we will never be free. This next exercise is a powerful way to start to deconstruct the mask that we show to the world and the shadow that we hide from them. Most of us put all our energy into trying to convince the rest of the world that we don't have a shadow, trying to hide our seemingly unpleasant or shameful traits from others. This leads to a narrow, constricted way of being that prevents us progressing deeply on the spiritual path. In this exercise, I'm going to ask you to be brave enough to reveal your shame, at least to yourself and maybe even to others, to allow us to, as Rumi said, move into the freedom of shamelessness. Be prepared to drop the mask. When I was on retreat, looking deeply at my own shadow, I knew when I came out of retreat that I wanted to do something to do with masks. I knew there was an exercise brewing somewhere around the mask that we show to the world and the shadow that we hide from them. When I came back from retreat, I went onto Amazon, bought a mask, sat down with some Sharpies and started to write on the outside of the mask my persona, the image that I present to the world. I wrote things like authentic, good Buddhist, smiley, lucid dreaming teacher, shadow worker, trustworthy. Now, are all of them true? Some of them. But are all of them true all of the time? No. But do I want you to believe they are true all of the time? Yes, because that is my persona. It is the image that I choose to present to the world. So I wrote that on the outside of the mask. Then I flipped the mask, and on the inside I wrote all of the aspects of myself that I hide from others, my most shameful aspects, my dirty secrets, my aspects of myself that I'm ashamed of and don't want others to know about. When I was doing this, it was a strangely cathartic process, and rather than feeling more ashamed, as I wrote those words, something started to release, and I moved into an authenticity that I'd never felt before. I finished the process, put the mask on my bed, and then this little voice in my head said, "You should share it on Facebook." And then the other voice said, "No way, that is a bad idea." But I realized if I'm to talk the talk about shadow work, I also need to walk the walk. So I decided to take a photo of the mask, both the persona side and the shadow side, that I dare not share with others. Then I spliced them together into one photo and uploaded it simultaneously to over 10,000 followers on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now there was a moment of relief when I did that, a moment of I'm authentic, I'm really doing the shadow work thing. And then the fear hit me, this deep fear in my belly that I had wrecked my career, my reputation, my credibility. Some of the stuff on that mask was stuff I hadn't even shared with my wife, let alone shared with the world. In fact, I reached for my phone and tried to delete it. But while I was trying to work out how you delete things off 3 platforms simultaneously, the phone started pinging, ping, 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 ping. And I realized it was likes, it was comments, it was people saying that this was one of the most authentic posts I'd ever written. Now, I don't have a huge social media following, but by the end of the day, that was my most shared, most liked, most positively commented on social media post ever. Within a couple of hours of me posting it, there were people who'd gone out to toy shops to buy their own white paper masks to do the practice and then were tagging me in photos on their Facebook page. It didn't go viral, but within my little social media world, it kind of did go viral. You can now go onto my Facebook page, Charlie Morley, Lucid Dreaming and Shadow Work, and you can actually see the post yourself. And what I'll encourage you to do at the end of this exercise, if you feel like it, is actually take a photo of your mask and upload it onto my Facebook page, along with the 70 or 80 other masks that are already there from people who've done this course or read my book. So, enough talking. This is one of my favorite exercises to integrate the shadow and move you into a deep level of authenticity. I hope you enjoy it. Get ready to drop your mask. This practice is a powerful way to unmask the shame you hide. befriend your shadow, and step into your fully authentic self. Step 1. Buy a white plastic or paper mask, like the one featured. Or, if that's not possible, make a mask yourself out of paper or card. Get yourself some marker pens or Sharpies with which to write on the mask too. The final part of this exercise requires standing in front of a mirror, so make sure you have access to one as well. Step 2. On the outside of the mask, write or depict all of the qualities that make up your persona, how you present yourself to the world. These may be true qualities, but some may also be a little bit more aspirational than others, and some might be just plain untrue. But however you present yourself to the world, write these qualities on the outside of the mask. Step 3. On the inside of the mask, write or depict all of the seemingly shameful traits, habits, secrets, taboos, and shadow aspects that you hide from others. If there's anything that you are absolutely unable to write down, feel free to represent it through a symbol or acronym that only you know the meaning of. Don't censor yourself, just go for it. You can't get this wrong. Step 4. Once you've finished the inside of the mask, take some time to notice any correlations between the persona side and the shadow side. Do any qualities directly mirror each other or directly contradict each other? Step 5. Stand in front of a mirror and hold the mask up in front of your face with the persona side facing you. Read through, out loud if possible, all the aspects of your persona and just notice how each one makes you feel. Authentic. Good Buddhist. Smiley. Lucid dreaming teacher. Shadow worker. Trustworthy. Remind yourself that your persona is not wrong. It is just your preferred image of yourself. The persona is, at best, a pale photocopy of your true self, and nothing compared to your true divinity. Step 6. Flip the mask around so the shadow side is facing you. Read through, out loud if possible, all the aspects of your shadow side and just notice how each one makes you feel. Shame derives its power from being unspeakable. So to declare our shame out loud is to strip it of its power and liberate ourselves from its stranglehold. Step 7. Finally, drop the mask. Literally drop it to the floor and stand looking at your original face in the mirror. Witness yourself with love. Say the following out loud as you look at your face in the mirror. I bear witness to my persona. I bear witness to my shadow. I send love to my persona. I send love to my shadow. I am more than my persona. I am more than my shadow. I am my original face. There is another step to this exercise, which is definitely optional. Just by bringing awareness to those hidden, secret shadow traits, you have already started to loosen the stranglehold that they have over you. You can, if you like, take this process 1 or 2 steps further. Step 1 would be to share the content of your mask with a friend or trusted family member, simply as a way to explore how it feels to show your mask to another. And the next step would be, if you're feeling courageous enough, take a photo of your mask and upload it anonymously to my Facebook page, Charlie Morley, Lucid Dreaming and Shadow Work. There you'll find dozens of other people who've uploaded their masks, and by doing so, you give people permission to step into the freedom of shamelessness. When I first did this exercise, what I discovered was the content of the inside of my mask didn't shock me. I knew most of what was there already. What did shock me was the huge aversion I had to sharing it with anybody else. But when I did share my hereto shameful aspects with others, what I found was rather than those shameful aspects becoming amplified and increasing in power, they actually started to get quieter and diminish in power. This is because shame breeds its power from being unspeakable. Once I had been brave enough to share my shame, the habits that made me engage those shameful aspects started to get weaker and weaker. This is because shame perpetuates habit. Science has proved that shame perpetuates harmful habits and addiction, because addiction is often based on a misplaced and unfulfilled need for bonding and connection. An experiment first conducted at Simon Fraser University in Canada, way back in the 1970s, showed that when you offered water with heroin in it to isolated rats in empty cages, they all drank it and almost all overdosed and died from it. But when you offered it to rats in a cage that was full of other rats and nice things to do, other rats to have sex with, and activities to engage in, they almost never drank the heroin water. None of them got addicted and none of them died. Why? Because they had connection and bonding. When we're connected, we don't tend to get addicted to things or to create nearly as many destructive habits. This theory was applied to humans in Portugal with exactly the same effect. Injecting drug use declined by 50% because the money spent on shaming drug users was instead spent on helping them bond and reconnect with society. Although the experiment known as the Rat Park experiment has been seen as an oversimplification by some, myself, as someone who spent 4 years working as a drugs and alcohol outreach worker, and who has myself struggled with addictive tendencies towards sex and drugs, I've seen firsthand how shame perpetuates harmful habits. When we shame ourselves or are made to feel ashamed, we feel disconnected, and so more likely to engage the shameful habit that led us to feel disconnected in the first place. It becomes a downward spiral of shame leading to shameful action. If we can take a new approach, an approach where we're able to move into the vulnerability of sharing who we are, of stepping into an okayness with what I call our magnificent messiness, we start to move into a power and authenticity that has always been there, but that for many of us, we've been too scared to enter into. My friend, the philosopher Tim Freke, told me about how in the ancient Greek Eleusinian mystery school, you would be expected to make a confession of your shadow side to the community before you could enter into the mystery school. And for us too, until we are able to step into the vulnerability of our magnificent messiness, we may be forever kept from the mystery of full awakening.